In the headlines, 18 presidential candidates signed peace accord ahead of 2023 elections. Bandit dollar hits 735 naira as political campaign begins. UN tribunal puts Rwanda's Felicien Kabuga on genocide trial. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Iya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. 18 political parties and their presidential candidates have signed the first National Peace Accord ahead of the 2023 elections. This means that the political actors have agreed to make the campaigns issue-based and devoid of attacks on the personality of opponents, thuggery and use of fake news and disinformation, among other threats to peaceful elections. The 2023 first signing of the Peace Accord was organized by the National Peace Committee, headed by the former military head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar and Bishop Matthew Kuka at the International Conference Center in Abuja. The signing of the Peace Accord was to commit all political parties, their candidates and supporters to peaceful campaigns and rallies. Senate President Ahmad Lawan has finally recognized Bashir Machina as the All Progressives Congress candidate for Yobe North Senatorial District election in 2023. In a statement which he personally signed, Lawan, who was first elected into the lowest chamber of the National Assembly in 1999, said that he had accepted the judgment of the court. He said that the judgment disqualified his candidature and therefore his participation in the elections. Lawan said that after due consultations with his political associates, supporters and well-wishers, he has decided not to appeal against the judgment. Lawan's road out of the National Assembly began when he contested the presidential primaries of the ruling party but lost to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Now, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Felix Moka, on Thursday distanced the party from a letter accusing the APC presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, of breaching the agreement regarding the constitution of campaign council members. Earlier on Thursday, a purported letter had leaked wherein the APC national chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, accused Tinubu of appointing members of the party's presidential campaign council without the approval of the National Working Committee. Adamu demanded the immediate withdrawal of the Presidential Campaign Council list, warning that any sign of disarray in the party's ranks would undermine the spirit of the campaign and give an undue alarm to party followers across the country. But the APC spokesman in a statement said that the letter did not emanate from Adamu, adding that the party will not be distracted by those he described as detractors. Now, following the commencement of electioneering campaigns ahead of the 2023 elections, stakeholders are calling on political parties and their candidates to focus on issues affecting citizens. The Center for Transparency Advocacy made the call while addressing journalists in Abuja. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim was there and now report.
The executive director of the center, Faith Nwadishi, during the briefing called on politicians to adhere to the guidelines set by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, while also charging citizens to document campaign promises made by the candidates so as to hold them to account.
As we move into the campaign period, we expect that the political atmosphere will be charged. It is imperative, therefore, that political parties make their campaigns issue-based and convince Nigerians to vote for their candidates based on sound proposals of alternative solutions to the issues that are utmost concern to Nigerians. The Center for Transparency Advocacy urges political parties, candidates, and their supporters to operate within the confines of the law and the provisions of the Independent National Electoral Commission's rules and regulations. CTA will be tracking election promises and will be giving an update periodically In the same vein, we urge citizens and the media to monitor and track campaign promises made by political officers so as to hold them accountable.
She also challenged politicians to put their money where their mouth is by swearing an affidavit to make their campaign promises a legally binding document.
If, for instance, you have come to my village and part of the promises you have put is that you have put, say, the road, I'm going to do this road in my first 100 days of office. And first 100 days of office, I will do you a letter and say, okay, this is what you saw an affidavit that you are going to do. What has happened? What have you not done? And I will take you to court. Because one, you have breached a contract. It was based on that thing that you signed and took to court that I now said, okay, I can give you my vote. Every political party that puts out a manifesto or puts out campaign promises should go to court. When you go to court and sign an affidavit, then I can take you seriously. And I tell you, any political party that does that, go to court, sign an affidavit, I will vote for that political party.
The group, however, charged citizens, political parties, and relevant stakeholders to shun activities capable of inciting the public and causing a breakdown of law and order. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
In a similar vein, politicians in Kwara State have been warned to embark on peaceful campaigns that are devoid of forms of rancor and acrimony. The new Kwara State Commissioner of Police, Paul Odama, while briefing journalists, assured that a peace accord and undertaking will soon be signed by political parties to avoid crisis during the campaign. He threatened that those who break the agreement will be sanctioned.
Kwara Police, Nigeria Police, is for all political parties. It is the duty of the police to create a level playing ground for all political parties. I repeat, all political parties. That we are going to do, and we have started, so that we can have peace accord. We will make all political parties to write an undertaking of their conduct in this election. We, on our part in the security, we are going to gather information. We are working on intelligence. We will synergize together and we will share information among ourselves.
Still on security matters, gunmen on Wednesday night invaded Wusasa area in Zaria, killing one person and abducted 3 others. The village head of Wusasa, Isiaku Yusuf, said that the bandits came in number and attacked the residents of Dr. Oderinde, resident of Wusasa Central area. He gave the name of the person they killed as Oluwakemi Oluwatosi, and those abducted as Douglas Silas, Treasure Yohanana, Victor, and son of the landlord Precious Oderinde. The village head said that he alerted the police and members of the vigilante group who arrived at the scene after the bandits had gone. A customs officer has been killed at a checkpoint a few meters away from 35 Battalion of the Nigerian Army in Natinta Barrack on Katsina-Jibia Road. The terrorists launched the attack on the joint operatives early on Thursday morning. Several other operatives were wounded following a gun battle with the terrorists. Customs Service spokesman in Katsina, Balarabe Tahir, confirmed the incident to Trust TV's Abdullahi Amadi. The terrorists also struck at Kukartoro, a farming community in Batsari local government area of Katsina State, killing 2 people. A source said that about 17 people, including women and children, were abducted as unspecified number of motorcycles carted away. Gunmen have killed at least 5 soldiers in Umunze, in a community in Orumba South local government area of Anambra State. The incident reportedly occurred on Wednesday at about 12:30 p.m. beside a Zenith Bank branch close to the popular Nkwo Munze market in the area. The gunmen were said to have opened fire on the soldiers who were in an army-marked Sienna patrol vehicle, killing 5 of them in the attack. The military is yet to respond to the attack as of the time of this reporting. Meanwhile, Governor Charles Soludo, in a statement by his spokesperson, Christian Aburime, condemned the attack and said that the perpetrators must pay, as the government is working to apprehend them. The governor urged Anambra residents to remain calm and law-abiding as the security agencies are on top of the situation. 13 communities in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State have been submerged by flood, with over 300 families rendered homeless. Schools, churches, markets, farmlands and residential houses in the communities were submerged, while some of the residents had relocated to neighboring communities. Community leaders said that there was a need to find a permanent solution to the recurring flood problem, as the flooding had brought untold hardship to many families. The Anambra State Commissioner for Environment, Felix Odumegu, said that the state government had commenced inspection of the affected communities, noting that camps would be established for the victims. He also said that medical teams had been deployed in the affected communities to assist the victims. An expert in agriculture, Ishaku Faguji, has predicted food shortage after this harvest season due to severe flood ravaging some parts of northern states. Faguji, who is also the Executive Director, Institute of Agricultural Research, IAR, Zaria, made the prediction while fielding questions from journalists in his office. He observed that the flood was so significant this year that over 30% of agricultural investments in the states, such as Jigawa, Kogi, Kebbi, and some parts of Kano, Bauchi states, will be lost.
Different news media and have seen how destructive this natural catastrophe has been to our agricultural activity this year especially. Even though almost every year you have incidences of flood, but this year happened to be extraordinary in recent years. And it is so significant that it is estimated that especially in those states like Jigawa, some parts of Kano, Bauchi State, Kogi, Kebbi State, and so on, close to 30% of agricultural investment is going to be lost in those places. And therefore, this will naturally translate into shortage in our annual harvest of grains and other agricultural products. Consequently, again, it will translate into shorter supply of food items to Nigerians. We all know the relationship between supply and demand. If the demand supersedes the supply, which in this case, our own internal production of food items will be affected grossly.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how rabies killed 3 people in Adamawa. Details of this and more after the break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a look at the top stories again. 18 presidential candidates signed peace accord ahead of 2023 elections. Bandits kill customs officer at checkpoint in Katsina. Elsewhere, a Kano State High Court presided over by Justice Sanusi Ado Ma'aji has adjourned the arraignment of Chinese national Geng Quangrong, who was accused of killing his Nigerian girlfriend, Mukuslum Sani Buhari, due to the absence of his defense counsel. At the resumed hearing on Thursday, Quangrong prayed that the court to adjourn the case to enable him to contact his counsel to represent him. Responding, Kano State Attorney General, Barrister Musa Abdullahi Lawan, didn't raise an objection to the defendant's prayer to adjourn the matter. Justice Ma'aji adjourned the case to October 4th. Geng is being accused of trespassing and murdering 23-year-old Mukuslum Buhari. The deceased and accused were said to have been dating before the relationship turned sour. A new report by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has revealed how communities in the Niger Delta area continue to live in depressing and deplorable conditions, even though the wealth derived from these areas is the economic mainstay of the country. According to the report, the communities in the Niger Delta remain the poorest in the country. The 82-page report launched in Lagos posits that lack of transparency and accountability is fueling human rights violations in the oil-rich region. The report, presented to the media by Dr. Olubunmi Afinoyi, Faculty of Law of the University of Lagos, discloses that the region remains deeply in the grips of squalor, poverty, and environmental degradation. The report, however, highlights how endemic corruption contributed to poverty and consequential suffering of many people in the Niger Delta.
Advocacy, if we've been talking and the issues are still on, that shows you that the problem is actually quite serious.
We are therefore calling on the government, without any further delay, to inaugurate the board of the Niger Delta. Secondly, the government must release a report of the forensic auditor so that projects that are abandoned can be taken up by the communities affected in the Niger Delta. Roads have been abandoned, schools have been abandoned, electricity projects have been abandoned. We want to know who has taken money, billions of naira.
SERAP did not do a report on oil theft in the Niger Delta. The research and the report that we have done, including this one, is on the socioeconomic rights of members of the oil-producing communities. And now lack of transparency and accountability have not allowed those funds released to these MDAs to impact on the lives of the people.
We see a lot of security around there, and yet oil is being stolen every day. It is only in Nigerian state that we don't know what we produce. Why? What are the agencies doing? Like I said, we look into government's eye and speak truth to government.
Four cases of rabies have been recorded in Adamawa, out of which 3 are dead, while 1 is receiving medical attention in Michika. Among the 3 victims confirmed dead, 2 were indigenes of Gombe and 1 was from Hong local government area. Trust TV also recalled that last year 1 person was reported dead from rabies in Jada local government area. Salis Lawan has more.
With the recent cases of rabies in 4 local government areas out of the 21, stakeholders say there are growing concern for authorities to spread awareness about the dangers of rabies and how it can be stopped in the communities. To curtail the spread of the disease, they charge dogs and cat owners to avail themselves the free vaccination opportunity, which aim at eradicating rabies in their animals.
It's a very, very wonderful day for us in Adamawa State here, and I will call on the beneficiaries to cooperate with all our veterinary doctors in the state, in our various LGS, for us to achieve this World 2022 Rabies Day, so that we can be able to achieve, and all these zoonotic diseases, we make sure that we control it.
Stakeholders said the awareness seeks to educate the public about how rabies can be eradicated in people and domestic animals.
Is to bring awareness or to create awareness on the danger of rabies, and to bring the highlights of the development that is happening in regard to eliminating rabies in animals like was in the human.
The awareness and sensitization campaigns also brought together dogs owners, and they said the free vaccination will go a long way toward limiting dogs bite cases in the state.
It's very important, especially for a dog like this. It has a very serious challenge if it bites somebody. So it's easier for you to come and receive the vaccine, whatever time it takes you. Or, by the way, this one is free.
Cases of rabies these days is becoming so rampant. And people are keeping dogs in their houses. So I want to call on most of the dog owners to please use this opportunity.
Around the world, dogs are the most common animal infected by rabies, with more than 99% of human cases coming from dog bites. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
And in business, the dollar hit 735 naira in the parallel markets on Wednesday as political campaign activities began in the country. According to Bureau de Change operators in Lagos and Abuja, dollar price had increased from between 718 naira to 720 naira, and then to 728 naira and 735 in the last 1 week. Speaking on major factors responsible for the rate hikes in dollar to naira, the Vice President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gabriel Idahosa, said that the immediate cause of dollar rate increment was the new monetary policy rate of the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to Idahosa, the commencement of elections also meant that a lot of funds had started pouring into campaign-related activities. Away from Nigeria, a United Nations tribunal in The Hague has opened the genocide trial of a Rwandan businessman captured 2 years ago after decades on the run, with judges saying that the hearing must go on despite the suspect's decision to boycott it from his jail cell. Felician Kabuga, a former businessman and radio station owner, is one of the last suspects sought by the tribunal prosecuting crimes committed in the 1994 genocide, when ruling Hutu majority fighters killed more than 800,000 minority Tutsis and Hutu moderates in 100 days. He is also accused of arming ethnic Hutu militias. Kabuga was arrested in May 2020 in Paris between COVID-19 lockdowns and extradited to The Hague, where he has entered a not guilty plea. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.